This is one of the areas that we had information told that possibly his body was dumped.
Up an old logging road off Highway 42, about 25 miles outside of Myrtle Point, Sheriff Craig Zanni and Lieutenant Dan Looney are showing us one of the places they've searched for Jeremy Bright over the years.
It's dive and, it's basically feel your way around.
Yeah. Sheriff Zanni says information has come in many forms.
This was tips, information, rumors, innuendos.
But he says they chased down every lead.
Yeah, every time there's anything in the paper about it. In fact, what'll happen is whenever you air this, the next day we will start getting calls and messages.
And he says they've covered a lot of territory.
Well, obviously we started in the Myrtle Point area, and since after that was out to Riverton and Arago and Remote and Bridge and Coquille and Bone Mountain. I mean, basically ended up everywhere in the county, all the way to as far as Grants Pass.
As I mentioned earlier, we ended up diving in wells. We crawled through culverts, caves, old cabins.
Back in Myrtle Point and several miles outside of the downtown area, we're at the location of Terry Steinhoff's parents' house, where Steinhoff lived at the time of Jeremy's disappearance. The Coos County Sheriff's Office has named him as a person of interest, but he died while serving a prison sentence in 2007.
Up there was actually a little farther up the hill, but that's where the house used to sit.
Sheriff Zanni says they've searched this property multiple times. Although logged now, 30 years ago it was a dense forest area filled with junk.
Removed a lot of the old junk cars and stuff, which were, difficult to operate around. We brought out cadaver dogs. We brought out people to search. The property was all checked again, just to ensure that we hadn't missed something in the other searches, and nothing was found.
The sheriff says after 30 years, what they were hoping to accomplish has changed with time.
We're not concerned about identifying who it is and prosecuting them. We're trying to bring closure for a family that has suffered for the last 30 years on a daily basis of not knowing what happened to their brother, their son.
But it hasn't all been for nothing.
Well, I always think I've lots of times I think we're on the right path. The problem is I don't have enough information to do anything with what I have.
Back at the local newspaper, Leon Brown says it's not far from the minds of those still living in the community.
I'm not going to say it's talked about on an everyday basis, but yeah, it comes up quite often.
And they want answers as well.
What really happened is we're still wanting to know, and I mean wanting to know.
And Esty believes there are still people in Myrtle Point who could shed light on what actually happened to her brother.
I believe that there are people out there that know what happened to Jeremy. I think there are people who know where Jeremy is, and I just wish that they would have the courage to come forward and say something.
In the meantime, Esty says Jeremy is still a part of their daily lives.
For them, if they're not playing the duck. My kids all know who Uncle Jeremy is. His pictures are on the wall. We talk about him.
And they try to honor his memory.
Just trying to live life to make Jeremy proud. To help others, to follow in his footsteps and be a good person, and teach that to my kids.
But in the end, they want just one thing.
Justice would be nice, but in the end, I just want to know where Jeremy is.
In Myrtle Point, Jackie Garrity, KVAL News.